Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. My name's Travis.
And I'm Patrick, here for some sweet character reviews.
That's right. Character review time.
Will I know it? Did pretty good last time.
Yeah, we had
At least
some...
heard of them.
Yeah. I think the Savage Dragon was the only one that, I think kind of stumped you. Oh, and I was listening to something else, and they were talking, just randomly, Savage Dragon came up, and they were talking about how, he's not really a dragon, he's like an alien. He just happens to be green and has a fin on his head, so they just, refer to him as a dragon. Yeah, so gotcha. I did learn that since we last talked about Savage Dragon.
So it's a racist name by ignorant people that don't know any better.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Dragonhead. All right. Well, I hope we get more winners like Dragonhead. God.
Good old Dragonhead.
Yep.
Well, let's see who we have to start off with. Got number 46.
All right. I'm feeling confident.
Yeah. Okay. Number 46, the Human Torch.
Wait, is
and this is
Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of him referred to as Human Torch.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his name.
I thought it was like Johnny Flame or something.
Well, his name is Johnny Storm.
Storm, yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's the Human Torch.
I just never have liked the Fantastic Four.
Right.
I've always found them kind of like a knockoff brand for some reason. Maybe it's because they didn't have as popular a cartoon.
Right.
But as the X-Men, but yeah.
Sure.
So Human Torch. Wow, that's a lame name.
Well, so there's a little history.
Sounds like a nickname more than a name, though.
Oh. Well, so the history behind the name actually goes back to really the what started Marvel Comics in the beginning. So in 1939, it wasn't even called Marvel; it was called Timely Comics. And in Marvel Comics #1, Marvel Comics was the name of the magazine; it wasn't the name of the company. So in Marvel Comics #1, this writer artist Carl Burgos introduced his character of the Human Torch, who was an android who, once he created him and he was exposed to oxygen, he would just burst into flame. He was like I said, he was an android, but for some reason exposure to air would make him flame on. So that's how, that's where Marvel started. That was in 1939, and then cut to 1961, and now it's Marvel Comics, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are introducing Fantastic Four, and so they decide to give Johnny Storm it's kind of an homage, calling him Human Torch. It's using the same name as kind of a nod to their, the company's origins.
I guess I just don't recall them ever calling him Human Torch.
I think mostly they call them Torch.
Wait, really? Huh. I just think Johnny.
That's more often than not they call him Johnny. Human Torch is just kind of his
Invisible Girl or something.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
They all have code names, but pretty much they all go by their first names, in public, he would be referred to as the Human Torch. Maybe, well, because they're all celebrities, that it could go either way. People would know him as Johnny Storm probably as much as Human Torch. So, and yeah, the movie, the Chris Evans version and the other ones, they're not. I think they kind of shy away from the Human Torch as well, because it's kind of a silly name.
Yeah.
Even sillier when you go back to the original, who was he was an android. He wasn't even human.
Yeah, that makes like no kind of sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see him being called the Torch, and then maybe Johnny
Right.
being the Human Torch or something. But
Yeah. That's funny that Human Torch kind of came up now because we just did the 94 Fantastic Four, and then I mentioned it last time. Like, I'm starting up this other podcast where we're going back to the original comics, and we've talked about the Human Torch, like where all that started. So
very timely then.
Yeah. Hey, Timely Comics.
Yeah. So basically, his power is lighting on fire, but he can control where and like the output of flame, so he can fly. And does he shoot fireballs?
He can. Yeah, he can shoot fireballs. Okay. He can do some, like, he's got some pretty limited like fire powers. Like, he can shoot fireballs. He can increase his intensity to a nova intensity, like almost like reaching a near star type, intensity. For a brief moment, hot. Like if basically, yeah. So he can get super hot for a very short amount of time. But yeah, when he's completely engulfed in flame, he becomes like, his body kind of becomes lighter than air. And that's why he's able to fly. Oh,
it's not like he's shooting flame out his
no.
or something.
Yeah, it's not like rocket propulsion. I mean, visually it looks like he's flying around like a rocket. Yeah.
Okay, so his body actually transforms into like a gas of sorts.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so, because that's why he would become lighter. I don't know.
Lighter than
I could be getting in a little bit of that mixed up, but.
Because if that's the case, he should be like invulnerable from physical attack.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, but yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about him other than Flame On, really. So.
Yeah,
and he's a hothead.
I mean, for the longest time, I probably liked Human Torch the most out of the Fantastic Four, but really, for the longest time, I did not like Fantastic Four. I never liked the cartoon that was on in the 90s. They just seemed lame. They just seemed like, I mean, they were your dad's comics, and in my case, they were my dad's comics. He loved Fantastic Four, so like they just none of them had the flash that Spider-Man had, or but now, like, I've been
guy, a visible person and a rock.
Yeah. Yeah, but like here lately, I've talked about it enough times, like going back and reading a lot of the old comics. I've gotten really into the Fantastic Four. I still don't love Human Torch as I read him now. Because they always like put him and the Thing like up against each other. Like, they're always just playing pranks on each other and goofing off, and they'll be in the Baxter Building, and inevitably one of them will. Or usually it's Johnny Storm will antagonize Ben to the point where they just he starts hurling fireballs at the Thing, and the Thing starts chasing him around, and that inevitably leads to them like breaking some important piece of machinery that Reed's working on. It's just like they're just written as like children, and it gets really old to read. So to read and to read.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They just felt like kind of one note, like just watching it at a glance. It's like the father and the mom / sister, and then the rough and tough uncle or something, and a brash, wild young guy that turns to fire. So I mean, it just felt like on the nose.
Sure. But I mean, it was something that was kind of different than, because, I mean, the Fantastic Four started with, allegedly, it started with, I think it was Martin Goodman, who was like the publisher at Marvel. He was playing golf with the head of DC, and that guy was, talk about, oh, we've got this new thing coming out called the Justice League. We're gonna take the Flash and Green Lantern and Superman and Batman. We're gonna put them all together in one book. And so Martin came to Stan and was like, okay, this is what those guys are doing. Give me something like that. And so Stan was like, he at that point he was fed up with Marvel. He wanted to leave. And as legend goes, Stan's wife Joan said, well, if you're gonna leave, just do the story you've always wanted to do. Just do whatever you want, because you're gonna leave anyways. And so what he wanted to do was put a family, with all the bickering and the real like family kind of drama that is more real life, like put that into a book, and that's kind of where they came from. I mean,
it's a weird family.
Again, like
they're
that's the legend, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Incredibles are a family of superheroes.
Yeah.
But the Fantastic Four are an old guy and a girl that has a crush on old dudes, apparently.
Yeah.
If I learned anything from the movie.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And then a jockey kind of genius that gets turned into a fighter pilot / rock monster. I don't know. It's confusing. I don't get it. I can see where he's getting at with having like a family in quotes. Like,
yeah. Well, like the Marvel approach was like, let's create real people with real problems, because like for the most part, like Batman and Superman, like they didn't have problems, day to day. Like they didn't have to struggle with paying the mortgage to keep their headquarters, going, or like getting fired from a job, like, so I think that's part of what made Marvel different, is all their heroes had problems, and the Fantastic Four being no different. Like their problems were working together and keeping their like I said, their headquarters, from getting like sold from under them or whatever. Like, I don't know. That's not their only problem. It's just the one that comes to mind. Yeah.
The Fantastic Four versus the mortgage company.
Yeah. Sounds
That's essentially what you just pitched me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It sounds lame when you say it.
Yeah. I knew we shouldn't have gotten another mortgage. Damn it, Reed.
Yeah.
What will happen next time when interest rates go higher?
Will they get a better deal? Tune in next time.
Oh, man.
Yeah. One thing I like about Human Torch is like he is kind of best friends with Spider-Man. Kind of like when they're in costume. Like I don't think that Johnny Storm and Peter Parker are like best friends, but like Spider-Man and Human Torch, like they had a rivalry at the start, like way back in the 60s. It was because Johnny was a celebrity. I mean, all the Fantastic Four were celebrities.
Yeah.
But Peter, Spider-Man wasn't. Spider-Man was thought of as a menace, and so like it really got under Peter Parker's skin that, Johnny Storm was like famous out, in and outside of the costume.
Yeah, he was free.
Yeah. So there was a nice rivalry there in the 60s, and then they got to a point where they just became friends, and they'd have like, if they needed to talk, like Human Torch would go up into the sky and like skywrite with, flames. He'd say, meet me at the usual place. And the usual place was always the top of the Statue of Liberty. They'd go there and just hang out together and chat about whatever's going on, whatever problem they're having. And, so I always liked that relationship that they had.
Okay. A couple of young guys just chilling.
Yeah.
All right. The Human Torch. The more you know.
Yeah. I think that's probably good enough for the Human Torch, I think. Shall we see what's next?
It's got to be better than the Human Torch. It's a horrible name.
Well, if numbers are to be believed, number 70 is next, and...
Oh, good Lord. So, well, let me guess. It's
okay.
The third Green Lantern's cousin.
As a matter of fact, it is someone who's green. So I thought, oh my God, you guys. No, it's number 70 is the Spectre. The Spectre is a DC character. Well, I guess it probably goes back
with the Shadow, the movie we watched with Alec Baldwin.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think you're that far off.
Is it that era where it's like?
Yeah. Okay. So it goes back to More Fun Comics number 52 from February of 1940. So this is they're going way back. And it says, let's see. Ironic that the Spectre's first appearance was in a comic called More Fun Comics. The Spectre is anything but fun. It says that the Spectre has taken on a number of hosts throughout the years.
Oh, wait,
but he's like
movie with Sam Jackson.
That is the Spirit.
Spectre. Oh, the Spirit.
That's
okay.
we talked about that one last time. Yeah, it's kind of that same era, but this guy I think actually has powers. Let's see. It says he's a problematic figure for the Justice League to comprehend, believing that the Spectre is God's true spirit of vengeance. So kind of like Ghost Rider, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he can.
Archangel of sorts. Or...
Yeah, maybe. I think he like. I've never really read any Spectre comics. I've read. They did an animated movie, not a full length animated movie, but like a. I don't know, like 15, 20-minute animated movie that was like attached to another, DC animated movie not a couple years ago, probably 10 years ago now. That was, I remember being interesting at the time, but I really couldn't tell you much about the Spectre. Wears a cool like green cloak, but he.
I don't think I've ever seen him. I'm looking at him now, but.
Okay. I don't know that he pops up that much. I keep wanting to say Mark Spector, but Mark Spector is the name of Moon Knight, so I don't know what the name of the Spectre is. It doesn't have it listed here. But I guess if he's been a few different characters, I guess, or been host to the Spectre. I don't have a ton on the Spectre.
I kind of, just looking at the Wikipedia thing real quick, I kind of dig the modern age example I saw here.
Yeah.
It says they would place the Spectre in complex, morally ambiguous situations or ethical questions like what vengeance should be wrought upon a woman who killed her abusive husband in his sleep.
Oh.
So it poses like very like difficult situations to the Spectre. And that's kind of interesting. I mean,
yeah.
That's very complicated.
Yeah, I'd like to see Batman try and handle that situation.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting just to see, like, it opens it up for a lot of interesting day-to-day kind of stories, kind of like you were saying with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It's dealing with, like, real-world problems, like, everyday things, so that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know that Spectre went back to 1940, but I would have thought he was more of the 60s era.
Yeah, I probably just lumped him in the older era because of the Spirit.
The name sounds very,
Yeah. That era must have been into Ghosts because of the whole, like, spiritual, like, thing that was going on in, like, the 20s and 30s.
I think it was just, like, you could give someone a name like Phantom or Spectre or Shadow. It just sounded like... I don't know. Not menacing. There you go.
Yeah. Because Spectre is also James Bond, so
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Move on?
Sure.
Or if you want to go for another, 5 minutes on Spectre.
Let's see here. It's spelled differently. Spectre.
Oh.
So there you go.
Yeah, all right, moving on.
Well, actually, I'm going to look up his powers real quick.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, actually.
The Ladies of God. Okay, that's very generic.
Okay.
But including but not limited to manipulation of time and space, manipulation of matter and energy, invulnerability, limited strength, and reality alteration.
Jeez.
Oh, limitless strength, sorry.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Virtually anything he wishes to do to those he judges is possible. Good Lord.
Jeez. So
his weaknesses are like having a human host, essentially.
Nice.
Wow. Oh, okay. His power's great, but not limitless. Has to do with like magic and stuff. So maybe the host or something has to be like strong enough to handle.
Yeah.
The power or something. I don't know. It kind of sounds like what's this? Fate.
Oh yeah, Dr. Fate.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a human that's possessed by something else.
I think I put him up there with like on the Marvel side. Have you heard of Uatu the Watcher? Like big guy, big bald guy. He's like he's a giant, but he's bald. He kind of looks like a big baby almost. Basically the Watcher, like his job is to watch the Marvel universe and like it just witness things. Like he's never supposed to get involved. But of course, like when it's like universe ending, threats like Galactus or Thanos or whatever, then he'll get involved, So I feel like Spectre's kind of like that. The few times that I know he's played a role in DC storylines, it's like it's a big deal when Spectre shows up, Like he doesn't just show up willy-nilly every time there's a fight between Justice League and Legion of Doom or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, it looks like he dropped the ball with Thanos in the cinematic universe then.
Well.
Although, it was like a cutscene with Stan Lee.
Yes. He was talking to a couple of Watchers. Yes.
Okay, so there's more than one.
Like every sector of the galaxy has a Watcher, basically.
Gotcha.
They were a race of people who... basically they let their universe die because they reached too far. Like their reach exceeded their grasp or whatever. They technologically they had no bounds, but it led to war, it led to them annihilating themselves. And so the few remaining Watchers left, like they said, okay, we're going to spread ourselves throughout the universe and we're just going to observe and just kind of act as record keepers. And of course the one that's assigned to Earth essentially is always like he grew fond of humans, and so when he watched humans grow and develop and then become superhumans, like he was like, okay, I'll step in and I'll make sure these guys stick around and survive. So
I don't know. He seems to be kind of lazy. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a similar kind of.
That's what I would put the Watcher and the Spectre kind of on the same pedestal. I would think, as far as like abilities and because now having read like he's basically a god, like that makes more sense. Like that's why the Spectre just shows up in comics when it's a big deal, I guess.
Okay. That's a cool character. I'm actually kind of interested in him now. Or I wonder if it needs to be a guy or if it can be a girl too.
Oh yeah, no, I
human host.
I don't know if it has been a woman, but I think there's certainly no reason it couldn't be.
Yeah, it just says human, so.
Yeah. I mean, knowing comics, it's probably only been dudes.
Yeah, sure. It's been either a man or small child.
Yeah.
Those are the two go-tos for old comics.
Right.
Okay.
Should we move on?
Move along.
All right. Let's do number 25. 25. Oh, here we go. Hellboy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Duh. Well, honestly, I wouldn't have known him until the movies came out.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Before that, I would have had no idea.
That's mostly what I know Hellboy from is the movies. I've read one kind of collected volume of Hellboy stuff, but that was pretty much around when the first movie was coming out, and I was interested enough to check it out. So I mainly just know him from the movies too.
Okay. And he's basically like Satan's spawn.
It's like
the devil's spawn.
Son of Satan, I think.
Oh, is it actually the son? Okay.
I think so. Oh, let me think. I'm getting them mixed up a little bit because I want to
of worlds potentially.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. because I want to say the most recent movie, Hellboy movie, he's like somehow the descendant. Somehow he's like next in line he's King of England, essentially. The end of that movie, spoiler, like he gets King Arthur, he gets Excalibur, and like he is like he's technically like King of England because of like it's his birthright somehow because of like who his parents are, like who he's descended from. So I don't know if he is the devil's son, but he's like, yeah, I don't know.
I would not have guessed King Arthur played a role in the Hellboy movie.
Yeah, the more recent movie. Yeah,
okay, because he came into being in the World War II.
Yeah,
the other versions.
Yeah,
he was a little baby hell baby, I guess.
Yeah,
so it's a little more complicated in the latest movie then.
I mean, I think that's still his origin, like coming into this dimension, around I think it's Rasputin is working for the Nazis, and like because Hitler, just like in Indiana Jones, they talk about Hitler is obsessed with the occult, and so like he gets Rasputin to try and get some sort of like devil powers or something like that, or it's like he's trying to get the staff. What's the staff called? The staff of, maybe it's the staff of Ra. I forget.
No,
but one of those like occult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Something like that though.
Okay.
And it somehow, it I don't know, opens up a portal or something, and Hellboy comes through the portal. Or I think maybe they were trying to get like, open this portal and let some sort of monster who will, destroy the world like over, and it turns out to be this little, demon baby. So I don't know. I've basically only seen the movies, and it's been a long time since I've watched them, so I'm getting the details a little mixed up, I'm sure. But
I mean, he seems to have like some kind of super strength and a berserker mode if his horns grow out, I guess.
Yeah.
And some vulnerability to fire and a sweet
I think he's impervious to fire.
Oh, I meant invulnerability to fire. Okay. Like, I don't know if it's like, there's that one girl in the movie that can turn up the heat pretty high. So I don't know.
If
that hurt a little bit, but I'm trying to think of what else I could remember.
This says
a big hand that like unlocks something.
It's like the red right hand of doom, I think is what it is, or something like that. So,
sweet tail.
Yeah. It says his first appearance is John Byrne's Next Men, number 21 from December of 1993.
So he's relatively new to the scene.
Yeah.
1993.
I want to say, I would have thought, mid 80s. I think he's created by Mike Mignola.
It always gave me a Nightcrawler vibe.
Oh, okay.
Like, because
of the tail.
Demon, marks on the, like he's got runes kind of inscribed on that hand of doom or whatever we call it.
Yeah.
And it made me think of Nightcrawler's marks that he put on himself.
Sure.
Totally different powers, but.
Oh, yeah.
They could be related.
Yeah. Well, I want to say that Nightcrawler is actually legitimately the son of a demon.
Okay.
That's why, like, when he teleports, like, there's always he leaves behind a trail of brimstone, like the smell of brimstone when he teleports. So.
Okay, so he got like a little Hercules thing going on with a demon god and a human person. Okay. So he's like a demon.
Well, I forget. I think technically in the comics, he's the son. Nightcrawler is the son of a demon, Azazel, and Mystique is his mom.
Oh, okay. So that's why he's still technically a mutant because he's born of a mutant. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he sounds a little different than a mutant.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I wasn't sure if that was just for movies or TV.
Yeah, I think in the movies
Mystique,
they didn't. Yeah. They didn't do the mother-son relationship, but Well, yeah. As far as Hellboy goes, I really like the first Hellboy movie. I think is really good.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman is like a great, choice for Hellboy.
Yeah.
And I don't love the second movie. The second movie to me feels more like it is definitely more a Guillermo. God damn it.
It's a hard thing.
I don't know that I've ever really tried to say his name that much. Guillermo del Toro. It's like,
Yeah.
It's definitely him playing in his own sandbox, because he does like, the second movie is like full of like fairies and stuff like that, like this other world, this fairy realm, that like it feels like that just belongs in Pan's Labyrinth. Like if you know Guillermo del Toro's movies, he likes to do, the more of the fantasy type stuff that I think he just wanted to add and incorporate into Hellboy. Like, so I don't love the second movie as much. And then I watched the newer Hellboy movie, and it was okay. It was just David Harbour as Hellboy was okay.
It was weird, like just seeing the previews. I'm like,
I watched it one night. It was like, I think it was available on HBO maybe, or something that I had that I didn't have to pay for. So it was like, yeah, I'll watch it. I think I was doing a puzzle at the same time, so I didn't have to like pay like hard attention to to the movie. So yeah,
that's how it was with the New Mutant movie.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so sounds like Hellboy, decent first movie.
Yeah.
And then hit or miss on the third, and the second one kind of was me.
Right.
Okay.
Moving on.
Let's do it.
All right. Next, we got number 29.
Okay.
Staying in the neighborhood. And that is... Okay, John Constantine.
Oh, again, I know this from the movie.
Okay.
Keanu,
yeah.
He's...
Yeah.
It must be a complicated fella, because I know in the movie, at least, he tried to commit suicide or something, or...
yeah, I watched that movie once, so I couldn't tell you really anything about the movie as far as like what they got right, what they didn't,
Yeah. I think he's trying to get back on the good side of his ledger or whatever.
Yeah.
And because he almost died, he can see things others can't or something.
Well, I know that like the
tattoos that he can pull power from or something.
Yeah. I know that like that movie, like it really rubbed people the wrong way, because like typically like John Constantine was modeled after like 1980s Sting. Okay. So like, kind of has a punk look, blonde hair, spiky blonde hair, British, very British, always smoking, always wearing like what's that?
He was doing that in the movie, at least.
Yeah.
Smoking,
But then, so like they cast, American Keanu Reeves with it, just visually looks nothing like the character. He's not British, I mean, so that I think really rubbed some people the wrong way. I think from what I remember and just reputation, like I think people like the overall story of that movie, but just think it's like it's weird casting. It's just a weird choice to like remove one of the main, descriptors of the character, just this British guy that's based on Sting, but you can change characters, of course, but I most know John Constantine from his appearances in actually going back to his first appearance, the Saga of Swamp Thing number 37 from June of 1985, and that's the Alan Moore run of Saga of the Swamp Thing, which is a great run, and he introduced this character of John Constantine, who's like very occult. He's he deals with demons and witches, and he can summon, I don't know, spirits and do stuff like if you are having a a problem with the occult. Like, he just kind of shows up and he knows kind of how to deal with stuff. But they did a Constantine TV show a couple.
Oh, okay, I do remember that TV show.
Yeah, like it started out on NBC, I think, and then it didn't take off, and then they moved it over to the CW, and then I think it kind of found its footing there, and I think they kind of merged him with the Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And that actor, I think, does a really good job. Like, I think he nails the what they're going for, what the original vision for the character was. So
he gives me a I should say it the other way around. Supernatural, the TV show, sounds like John Constantine.
Okay.
Where it's a cult.
Yeah.
There's some ritualistic knowledge that they have to help combat, I guess, otherworldly issues.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like along those lines. So maybe that's why I did good on CW. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I really just knew him from the Keanu version. And
yeah.
I do, now that you say it, recall the TV show, but don't remember much of it.
Yeah, we watched, I forget if it made it a season or I forget. We watched quite a bit of it. And then I think, because we were also watching Legends of Tomorrow for a little while. I don't remember if we saw him appear on that show or not, but I like the guy. When they started doing the Justice League Dark animated movies, they got the same actor from the Constantine TV show, Matt something, but they got him to do the voice of Constantine in the Justice League Dark movies. So it was like, because they had this perfect, guy for the show, and he could also do the voice, of course. So I like that they realized the actor isn't the problem with the show. It just shouldn't have been on a mainstream network like NBC. Yeah. So I'm glad that they realized we got a good guy. Let's stick with this, with this guy, and just keep using him elsewhere. So I think that's pretty cool.
On Arrow and then Tomorrow, like you said.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if the timing of that, because I know NBC also had that show Grimm.
Oh yeah.
Similar, kind of. Or
yeah, I feel like they were on about the same time. Yeah.
So maybe that's why it was put on there.
Maybe.
Wasn't room enough for two.
Well, and then I think you also had I forget where it started, but Lucifer. That might have been a CW show, but not connected to Legends of Tomorrow or Arrow or any of that. But I forget what network it was on. But it was kind of like that same kind of thing of occult stuff and dealing with demons and whatnot. So probably just a little too much of one similar genre. I don't know.
Well, I think I knew all of them except for Spectre. I was utterly confused on Spirit. And Shadow. I just had them all lumped together. But yeah, I'd never seen the dude before. Yeah,
like I said, I'd only seen Spectre in a few places over the years. I think he pops up in Kingdom Come. That's a big DC event story, and I think he's in that, and maybe one or two other places I've seen him before. But yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, Human Torch, Spectre, Hellboy, and John Constantine. So we had three of them are very occult, and I could see Constantine trying to if he met Hellboy, they'd probably try and kill each other until they both realized that they're they'd work out really well together. And then
Human Torch wouldn't be worried about hurting Hellboy.
There you go. Yeah.
Spectre would probably consider them all evil and kill them all right there.
Yeah, he'd just kill everybody.
Yeah. Oh, the Spectre with the power of God.
Yeah.
Hellboy with the power of Satan.
Ooh.
And then Constantine with the power of the occult, and Johnny Torch or Johnny Flame or Johnny whoever. We'll just say he's a distant relative of Satan or something because of the fire. So we can have some kind of crazy cosmic battle there.
That's a pretty decent, pretty good lineup of everything. Kind of works together pretty well. Yeah.
I mean, they got matching the threads somewhat intertwined, so that'd be interesting. I like looking at the groups that come out of this.
Yeah. Well, last time we had nothing but S names. Last time, I mean, not that the characters were necessarily like would work well together, but yeah, just sometimes we get like weird little groupings.
But, all right. Well, I think that'll do it for this round of characters.
I think so. Let's see. Do you want to recommend anything? What was it? What you were telling me something just before we started?
Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm totally gonna go off course. I think I might have mentioned this before, but I've finished it. Invincible on Prime.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Holy
I've been hearing good stuff.
Really good.
Good really family show.
Yeah. No.
What? Yeah, everyone watch it with your family, with your kids.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I can't wait for the next. I think it got renewed for 2 more seasons already.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, but it's also pretty brutal. So it's it's got some over the top Quentin Tarantino kind of moments to it.
Okay.
That are, I think that's the best way I could put it, because it's just so over the top. I just go straight to Quentin Tarantino and that what was it, the Kill Bill Volume 2 with the crazy 88s or whatever it was.
Okay.
Just like the super violence.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. But it's like, it's that, but it's also got like complicated relationships and stuff. So
yeah, I need to start it. I just haven't started it yet.
And if you do watch it, make sure you don't miss like the after credit scene.
Okay.
It kind of does a fake out ending, especially on the first episode.
Gotcha.
And I almost missed it. So and it would have been bad if I missed it. So although it would be interesting to kind of continue on without knowing what you find out.
Oh yeah.
So I wish I kind of did miss it, because that would have been interesting. Because then you would have been like as blind as some other characters were.
Right.
Not knowing. But yeah, definitely check out Invincible.
Yeah, right on. I will. I need to. Yeah, I will. I think we just checked out The Nevers on HBO. It's kind of like steampunk X-Men, for lack of a better description. It's like it's turn of the century London, and this I guess you'd call it like a comet. Kind of it sails over London. Not really a comet. Like it's not even going like super fast like a comet would. So it's like it's deliberately going over London, almost like the way a UFO would, But it's like this thing. It looks like it kind of looks like a comet, but it's like this glowing blue thing that's putting off radiation, and so it causes certain people to get powers. But it's like for some reason it doesn't give any powers to the wealthy and like well-to-do white people, and for lack of a better like way to put it, like the upper class don't tend to get powers. It's mostly the lower class, the minorities. A lot of women get powers, so it's almost like
reversal of who's in control.
But they're still they're still being persecuted. They're not like, they don't take control right away or anything. It's like they're still being they're viewed as like, well, you're afflicted.
Oh, okay.
So
that's what you mean. It's like the X-Men, where they're viewed as
a
threat.
But they have like powers kind of like that. Like one person can see the future, and one person can turn things to glass. One person just has the ability to break things. Like anything they touch just breaks.
That sucks.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Rogue, so she can't touch anybody, for fear of like her powers doing something bad, But it's really interesting.
Okay.
I think we've watched like 5 episodes. HBO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I would check that out. So.
Oh, there's one other thing I just thought of.
Yeah.
I've just started it. It's on Netflix called Jupiter's Legacy.
Okay.
I think it's Josh Duhamel.
Yeah.
Is in that. I've only seen like the first 3 episodes, but it's interesting because it's a lot of flashback and present day.
So we watched the first episode of that last night as of this recording, and I gotta say, like it feels like the Kmart version of a show that I would watch, like because there are no actors in it. I mean, there are actors in it. There are no huge big name actors, you know. I mean, Josh Duhamel. I mean, he's like, I feel like he's. I mean, this is not my joke, for lack of better, you know. Like he's kind of the poor man's Timothy Olyphant, and I feel like who they really want in this role is like a Brad Pitt. You know, it's like, and he's like probably the biggest name, you know, in the show, and it's like,
him and his wife, I'm blanking on her name, are the ones that I recognize.
Leslie Bibb, but you know, and she's fine, but it's like no one in it is like real, like no one's grabbing me and making me care. Even like the acting I didn't think was great. The costumes I didn't love. Some of the effects were just a little like, Like at this point, like with shows like this is Netflix, and they did Umbrella Academy and a couple other shows, and it's like I know Prime has The Boys, and it looks, you know, fantastic. It's like at this point, like with these, you know, streaming services, like most of the shows are done like with you know, like really well, but this one just felt like it was made 10 years ago with those effects and that budget, you know. I don't know. I will say, like the the way that episode ends, like I was kind of intrigued and wanting to see what happens
into the
next.
Mystery of it.
Okay,
it's not really a superhero movie to me.
Yeah,
it's more like the mystery behind how they got their powers.
Okay,
and the fact that they're, you know, in their 90s, but still. I
have heard the show gets better. So maybe I just need
the first episode is kind of meh. But it's hard to tell yet because I'm only 3 in. So
okay,
but I am continuing on, and I'll see if it's worth it.
Right on.
Because there's only so much YouTube I can watch with my daughter. Before I lose my mind. Yeah. But yeah, it was just top of mind because I just watched an episode over the weekend. Yeah. So.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can probably end it there.
All right.
Where my dog digs a hole through this door.
Well, maybe you shouldn't keep sausages in your pocket.
Yeah, well, that's the only way he, you know.
They're nice snacks every now and then.
Yeah, I get hungry too, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it. We will be back with. We might be back with a little surprise. I will say. Well, I'll leave it there. Should be fun. So, yeah. I guess until next time, stay safe. Nope. Until next time, stay safe. Yeah. Stay safe out there, citizens. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Sorry, my denture slipped out.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.